Well, the race has entered a fascinating stage now, Frank Gardner. Your car 47 seconds behind Jim Richards, but you're going to have to get Allan Grice to pull the Craven Mild car in and hand over to Alfredo Costanzo. What will you be asking Alfie to do?
Alfie knows he's under a lot of pressure. He has to go as hard as he possibly can and keep the car on the road, obviously, look after it, but try and maintain our position and keep the pressure on the Holden dealer team. We don't intend to pass them, and we haven't got the ability nor the equipment to pass them, but if we keep the pressure on them, it's not easy for anybody lapping in the times that both cars are lapping in. So it only needs either car to stumble, of course, and the race is all over for one or the other. So we're not in the position, as I said, to lead the race, but applying this constant pressure is certainly keeping them on their toes at this point in time.
A tremendous load on a driver who hasn't had any experience in touring cars. Alfie's a great single-seater driver. Is he going to be up to the job, do you think?
Well, Alfie certainly wouldn't be a Peter Brock in a saloon, but Alfie's a very talented driver. He's very adaptable, he's very responsive, he's a quick learner, does his sums well, and we're very pleased with him at this point in time.
And now we're watching Allan Grice go in the car. He's done a great job today.
Allan has been in the car over 3 hours. Driver's only allowed in 3.5 hours. That's a maximum time. And, you know, I'm in the process of going back to the pit now to pull the car in, take on fuel, and change the drivers.
What time is that scheduled for, Frank Gardner?
We expect to have Alfie in the car at around about 26 minutes past 1.
Right, so that is in another 11 minutes' time, and a very crucial stage of the race when Frank Gardner will call in this man, Allan Grice, running in second spot and only 3/4 of a minute behind the leader, and hand over to the touring car novice but top Formula 5000 driver Alfredo Costanzo. Oh, he's going very wide there, Frank, and picking up a little bit of grass and dirt. Any special instructions for Allan Grice in terms of how he should drive?
No, Allan exactly knows what he has to do. He's got a lap time which we've set out. He's got to keep trying to get back to that all the time. You've got to appreciate these lads have been in the car for over 3 hours, and they're bound to get a little bit ragged as long as they don't get more than a couple of inches behind the accident. We're all right. It's when the fatigue sets in, they're bound to get a little bit ragged because there's been a hell of a pressure on all drivers, and Shepherd has opted to put Richards in, and Brock is having a rest, so we're really putting Costanzo against Brock, which is a bit unfortunate, but I think Shepherd's played his cards very well.
Why did you decide to keep Allan going for the double spell?
Because I wanted the traffic to be depleted to let Alfie get into a better rhythm, so he wouldn't have to worry about cars around his ear all the time, and he could concentrate more on the driving and less on the slower cars, which are really the overtaking hazard. The discrepancy's about 40 mile an hour in a lot of places, and it's a pretty dangerous business.
Tactics then are a vital consideration in a race like this.
Yes, they are, and certainly you've got to have the equipment, and we're pretty pleased we're still out there because, as you know, Evan, this sort of thing can turn sour on you in a couple of minutes. The day you think you've got it all solved is the day you get kicked very severely.
Will you be changing tyres when you bring Allan Grice in?
No, we won't be changing tyres. We'll be leaving Alfie in. We may look at a tyre on our very last stop, but we're hopeful that we can go through all the way into one set of tyres.
What sort of information would Allan Grice pass on to Alfredo Costanzo when he hands over?
I would think after 3.5 hours in the motor car, very little, except to tell him the mechanical condition of the car. Pump the brake pedal and watch third gear. These are our only shortcomings at this point in time. But Alfie already knows this as I've briefed him. We've got a pretty good communication with Allan in the car. So Alfie knows exactly the mechanical condition of the car, so he's got to adapt himself to it.
Pretty diabolical traffic out there, and yet Allan Grice is threading his way through very expertly. What is the critical length of time, do you think, before a driver becomes so tired that he starts to lose concentration and efficiency?
Well, I know 1 year Pierre Levesque at Le Mans we've done 22 hours and then sort of had to be a world's biggest accident, but up to that point in time, it depends very much on the individual.
So it varies from man to man. The man we're watching at the moment is Allan Grice. The man we've been talking to is his team manager for the Craven Mild team, Frank Gardner, who's now in a hurry to get back to the pit to organise things for what could be the crucial driver change of the whole race. Back to you, Mike Raymond.
Thank you, Evan. Of course, Allan Grice, this is Allan, desperately wants to win. I've noticed in the last 5 laps that Allan is throwing the car around more, than he was an hour ago, and maybe if the concentration is off just a little or it's a little ragged. Allan Grice, of course, has never won this race. He looked at least a good chance of winning the recent Sandown 400 and wants desperately to win. And prior to coming to Bathurst, Grice had some very definite views regarding the sport and, of course, the restrictions placed on drivers and the finance required as opposed to baseball players, cricketers and footballers.
Very unfair sport in that, you know, to be a runner you need a pair of shorts and a pair of spikes, and a footballer, you get your Guernsey anyway. The club gives you your Guernsey and you just got to buy your boots. But motor racing's a lot different, and there's no clubs around that hand the cars out, and you've got to pay the bills yourself. And if you're not one of the fortunate few, you've got to beg, borrow, or steal, or earn the money yourself. And I became, you know, very totally committed to it. And when you're totally committed to anything, it should work. And you know, it's now a full-time occupation. I've got some very good sponsors, the best ones in the business, I think.
Well, we've been married 2 years. I've been involved with motor racing with Allan for 5 years. But out of that 5 years, Allan hasn't contributed anything to the household. I'm afraid the finishing off of the house will have to be done after Bathurst, but we'll just have to wait and see.
I'm very proud of the fact that although I own a lot of race cars and trucks, I don't own a lawnmower. And the only lawnmower that I hope to own, that's part of the plan, is one that hooks onto the front of the wheelchair, and when I'm 95 I might mow the lawn, not before. Well, there are 3 of us in the family. Sam is a pretty well-known sort of a Labrador dog, and he goes to all the meetings with us. Sam, hey, come here, come on. And he, hey.
He's a bit sleepy.
And he's about the same as us. He likes to get home after the meetings. He's been across the Nullarbor twice, and he's been to all the race meetings around Australia, and he likes to get home with us and go and throw himself in the swamp for relaxation and come back to the house. The house being so close to the workshop and having so many race meetings in the year, to get away, we really have to get away from the house as well, because it's just a walk down the hill to the workshop, and it's very close to a circuit. It's just through the trees from here, and you know, it's the if you're a golfer, you should live on the green so you can practice, and so you can be around your environment, and it's exactly the same with a race workshop. We haven't really seen the best results out of the workshop yet, because this is the first year, and it's been a capital year as far as setting the workshop up, which has restricted us in other ways with the team cars. Next year I think you'll see the benefit of the workshop and the proper environment and approach coming through, and I think you'll see a lot better results from our team.
Allan Grice, who we met in that profile with his wife Chris, a very, very determined young driver, a driver who has the sport at heart. He knows the expense of running a team. He runs everything himself, but he has very, very expert guidance from a very intelligent man in Frank Gardner.